Welcome to another edition of Community Conversations. Joining me today is Jim Racheff. Jim is a co-chair of my transition team, and he's also the chairman and CEO of DMS Incorporated here in Frederick County. Welcome, Jim.
Thanks for inviting me, Jan. Pleased to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you. Well, why don't we start off by having you introduce yourself to our viewers, and maybe you can share a little bit about what you do professionally and what you're involved in the community.
Sure. Well, I'm a local boy. I am lucky enough to have been raised here in Frederick County, graduated of Linganore High School. And I think as a result of that, I've been able to go on and have a little bit of professional success. My wife and myself have 3 small businesses here in Frederick County. We employ about 80 employees, and our primary activities revolve around supporting scientific researchers regarding cancer, AIDS, and other infectious diseases. So we're very lucky to do that. We are probably the only small business to ever serve as an administrator to one of the country's 38 national laboratories. We have one here at Frederick, the Frederick National Lab for Cancer Research, and so we're kind of proud of that. I'm also lucky that I've been able to be allowed to be involved in the different aspects of the community, served on a number of boards and commissions here with the county and with the city, and then also served on a number of nonprofits, including just getting off a stint chairing the United Way here in Frederick, and involved with Hood College, Mount St. Mary's on the Board of Visitors, and things of that nacher.
And you're a member of the Carroll Creek Rotary.
And I'm a member of the Carroll Creek Rotary. I'm proud that they were willing to have me.
I was proud they're willing to have me too.
Oh, you were easy comparatively.
It's a great organization. Now, I really want to thank you for your willingness to serve on the transition team. And when I was first elected to this wonderful position as county executive here in Frederick County, one of the initial tasks is to really look at the operation of county government, the organizational structure, and make sure that the county executive's office and the county council, function well together, communicate, and, so that we can deliver good government and efficient services to the citizens. So the charter requires the county executive to present an organizational plan within 14 months, which seems like a long time to me, but somehow I don't know how they come up with 14 months. But this is part of what the transition team is charged with doing. So can you share a little bit about the work of the transition team and what activities you've been engaged in?
Yeah, absolutely. As we've kind of discussed on a couple other occasions, we really have 2 transitions going on. We have a transition from the commissioner form of government to a charter form of government, and then we also have a transition in leadership. So the transition team is specifically charged with looking at those 2 transitions and how we can make those function as smoothly as possible. And so it's not only about looking at activities around the charter government, which are very important, and making sure that the council and the county executive can communicate and work effectively together. Certainly with a charter that's a more broad document. We all are working through a number of operational questions here as we go through the transition, as I'm sure you're dealing with every day.
The roles and responsibilities is a constant topic of conversation.
Yeah, the good thing I think about having a broad charter document is that there is kind of a lot of flexibility in there for the county executive and the council to make it own. Some of the challenges, of course, that some of those more mundane questions all have to be sorted out now and quickly, since we are already functioning under a charter form of government.
Now, we've met with some county executives or former county executives from other counties. We've had former county executive Ken Allman from Howard come up and talk to us, and he was really into talking about the organization and the communication pieces. And we've had former county executive Doug Duncan. We have County Executive Terry Moore from Cecil, who will be meeting with us next week. And so, maybe we can talk about what we've learned from some other counties.
Right, absolutely. We've been very fortunate that some of the past and current county executives have been willing to come up and speak with us in some cases also brought some staff. So it's been really useful for the transition team to talk about some of the best practices that they've developed. Certainly we've heard from county executives here, past and present, the importance of a communication function in the role of the county executive. And I think under the commissioner form of government, a number of those activities sort of happened indirectly and implicitly through the public meeting process. Those things are going to be restructured now, and so the county executive's connection with the public and those type of communication aspects, I think that we really need to look at making sure they're in place and that we've got that good relationship established.
So, well, I have, been able to have weekly meetings with the council president to try to have a good working relationship there. But I do think letting the public know what we're doing is something new that we're working on, because there are fewer public hearings that I'm involved in as the county executive. So we have to use the town hall meetings and the press releases and actually programs like this to talk about what's happening in county government. So give me some idea of when the transition team is going to be done with their work, and we'll provide some recommendations.
Well, we're probably going to wrap up here fairly soon. Here probably early February is our target goal. And what we'll be presenting to you as the county executive is a series of recommendations. We've done a lot of work with sort of analyzing the current state of county government and those activities. We're also doing a lot of work in digging into the budget, and that coincides with also the budget activities that you have under the charter as well. And so our goal is to be able to take that, also take your goals and priorities as county executive, and make some strong recommendations for you to consider here going forward. And of course, those will be up to you to take a look. We're also getting input separately and jointly with your leadership teams.
Well, maybe you can tell people what the difference is between the leadership teams, when there's 4 of them, and the transition team itself.
Right. So you form 4 leadership teams comprised of a broad spectrum of people from within the community in the areas of education, jobs, seniors, and community needs. And so those groups, and the membership varies from group to group, but we're probably talking in the neighborhood of 12 to 20 people, have also been meeting in parallel where the transition team has been meeting. I sort of look at them as idea factories, where we're asking for kind of their best and brightest ideas for the county. We're not really constraining them other than the fact that we hope that those things are actionable and can be achieved, but we see a lot of suggestions from them that are short-term focused, but also some bigger ideas and some broader priorities for maybe consideration in your strategic plan going forward.
Well, the leadership teams are really working on issues and key issues that came out in the campaign, rather than the organization of county government itself. But I like the idea factory. I have talked to them about brainstorming and coming up with goals and objectives and outcomes for the next 4 years, because we have some things we want to do right now and as soon as we can, but we have some other things that we know will take multiple years to accomplish. So we will be having a public meeting and a presentation of all the work of all the leadership teams, hopefully at the end of February. Each of those leadership teams is hosting a public meeting or a town hall of some kind between now and the middle of February. So we do want the public to be engaged, because open government and public participation is certainly important to me. So we're looking for those great ideas so that we can move Frederick County forward.
Well, it's been a wonderful experience. I'm also serving on the jobs team as well as on the transition team. And the enthusiasm in the room from those people who've been participating is, it's palpable. You can really feel it. And yes, we're also hoping that we'll continue to get input from various methods of the public as well. It's not just about the folks on the leadership team, it's about the broader community.
Well, if people want to provide input to the transition team, can you speak about how they can do that?
Sure. Though the transition team has been very interested from the get-go in getting information from the general public. We already have a website set up where anyone can go on the county website under the transition team information and provide us with feedback. They can provide us with contact information, or they can do it anonymously, whatever they feel comfortable. But we've gotten dozens of replies already through that mechanism. Margaret Nussbaum, who is sitting on our transition team, is also serving as kind of our taskmaster and coordinator, making sure that we stay on track, and anyone can contact her. And certainly, you're always accessible to the public, and people can contact your office directly if they want to pass input on to us.
I really want to thank you for joining me here today, and I want to thank you for your commitment to making charter government work. I mean, most people don't realize it, but the transition team has been here in the county government maybe 2 days a week, meeting with division directors and other staff and meeting with other county executives, and really trying to put in place a strong foundation to make charter government successful. It is a big transition to charter government. It's a learning curve for those of us who are engaged and for our community to understand how it's going to work and benefit them. And I really appreciate your dedication and you bringing that entrepreneurial spirit and that business background and enthusiasm to the table.
Well, I'm very lucky. We have a fantastic team of very strong and highly qualified individuals. And so my role as chair essentially is to coordinate activities, remove any kind of obstacles that might get in the transition team's way, and then maybe play devil's advocate from time to time. But it's been thoroughly enjoyable, and I'm fortunate enough to have benefited from being in the county, so I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to give back a little bit.
So, well, thank you so much. And that ends our edition of Community Conversations. If you have ideas or suggestions for the transition team or want to provide input to the leadership team, you can do that by going to the county webpage, sending your suggestion in online, or you can come to one of the public meetings that are going to be posted also on the webpage in February and let us know what you think. We really want to have that community participation. I value open and transparent government, and we're really going to move Frederick forward on the issues of education, transportation, human needs, and job creation here in Frederick County. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your participation.